No, man, this is not going to be an episode about me visiting a church. I'm visiting Patrick of Tidalwave. I'm in Karlsdorf, Germany. This is another day, another story to tell. My name is David Jones and I'm a studio visitor. Let's go! Like that.
No, better not.
No, we're not gonna do that. Welcome to the channel. To me, it's Patrick, Tidalwave Studios. We're in Karlsdorf, Germany. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the hospitality and thanks for having me.
Oh, well, I'm already here. You had the long travel, so.
Only 6 hours.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. We're standing at a room at the moment. I was thinking like, wow, man, really? All that woodworking. Tell me.
Well, woodworking is my second nature. Besides audio, I really love woodworking. So I have a nice shop, well equipped. So I build stuff, especially for the studio. Build speakers, studio furniture, acoustics, diffusers. It's fun. I love do-it-yourself.
Yeah, me too. Saves a lot of money as well.
Yes, it does. The thing is, if you want to buy some stuff, either you don't get it or it's expensive as hell. You know, for example, the diffusers, many that you can buy commercially, they are not real diffusers. They are random patterns and don't work all that well. It's because it's patented and you have to pay a license, and they want to.
Not only that, because they assume it's a certain amount of frequencies that needs to be reduced, so they make a commercial product that's generalized. So it's not sacrifice to your needs.
Let's say some diffusers are better than a bare wall, but not a lot. So I spend quite a bit of time like measuring and using tools to dimension diffusers and learn about them and to know which range they are useful in. And if you take some products that are available and you calculate the frequency range in which they theoretically work, then it's...
We're talking about theory. How's the theory working for you in practice?
Oh, fantastic. The best example is the big diffuser here. The room here was actually very nice without all the diffusers. It was more lively, but I had like a 442 hertz problem in this room. So
pretty common error.
This is well, it was, if you measure it, it matches the length of the recording room. So I used the tool QR Dude, it's called. It's really a nice, simple little tool where you can modify the parameters until it fits what you need. And my main goal was 442. So I built everything around. So I built it and I tried it and the issue is gone. So
I mean, there are carpets on the floor, curtains on the wall. How about these panels on the wall? Did you make them yourself as well?
The carpet is more for coziness than anything else because it's not doing a lot. It's thick like this. It's the extreme highs that it will soften a little bit, but it doesn't do much. The curtains are from a German company who make opera houses, theaters and stuff. So these are special acoustic curtains. And I first thought, curtains, it's just a piece of cloth. But they work really, really well. I must say that this room, it has bass straps and stuff, so I didn't have to rely on curtains to try and get rid of rumble or something. There was no rumble to start with. But to just control the room, they work fabulously. I measured everything. They're really great. And then I kept a good distance to the walls, so you lower the lowest absorption frequency by not placing it directly to the walls.
The principle of two forms of absorption in one. Little space, air gap is also isolation.
Yeah, I would have to think why exactly it helps to not be next to the wall. One thing is that basically you want to change the velocity of the air, of the wave and change it into heat. But if you have zero velocity, you don't change anything. And next to the wall where it's bouncing back, velocity is zero. So there is no effect next to the wall. But there is another thing that the lowest frequency that you absorb is getting lower if you move your absorbers back from the wall a little bit and not stick them directly. So if you just have money for 10 centimeters of Basotect or something like an absorbing material, and if you move it back or hang it down from the ceiling, you get more value for your money. And these absorbers are from a company from Munich called ACM. They are very famous for building room acoustics, and I took those from our old studio. There were tons of them that were all over the place. I don't know, there were 50 modules like this spread over the studio.
But could they also be used as gobos?
Well, these I have some on the walls. The control room is completely full of them. So, and I have 4 of those guys on coasters, so I can move them around. So what I do all the time when I record vocals, I make like a, well, it's not really a small room. It's still a large room, but you reduce the reflections and get it tighter sounding. It would dry.
Got the surroundings of a big room.
Well, you don't have the negative effects of a small room, because I also have like a small ISO booth, which I thought back then was a nice idea, but it sounds like garbage. So now, well, it's what it is. So now I store my reverbs in there. I have a big spring reverb, a BX20. So the driest room in the house stores the reverbs, which is kind of funny.
Yes. How about these lamps? Looking gorgeous.
It all started with one lamp in the control room. Was a good friend of mine, Nikos, is a Greek guy, and he said, okay, one day when I will have to go back to Greece, I will give you my lamp, which he did, and then I was hooked. And then I got more, because I love this diffuse, warm light. I like it cozy. I don't like LEDs and bling bling and a lot of technique. I like wood and grandma lamps and, cozy atmosphere.
Yeah.
This is more important than technical stuff.
We're talking about cozy atmosphere. Do you think it's a physical, a psychological thing that when an artist records in a cozy atmosphere, it performs better?
Totally. If I put you on a junkyard and let you play there, how would you feel? So this would be one extreme.
I don't care. Really, I don't care.
Well, I had actually, funny thing is, I had one band, they didn't want to book the studio because it was too clean. They wanted a fucked up space, a little bit like a rehearsal room with, I don't know, beer cans and stuff. And they thought about coming here, and then they decided not to because they wanted a more fucked up space, which is cool. I understand it, but even the most evil black metal bands, also, my experience tells me that they like a nice place too, and
we all do.
It's I enjoy when people come in and say, "Wow, this is actually nice." Like it's like a living room, and this was my intention. I said when I, like in 50 or 60 years, when I'm going to retire, this is going to be my living room. So I wanted it to be like that.
Pretty tremendous space you got. Yeah, well, my impression was Sam was like, wow, man, I like what you did to the room. And it's not even all about the coziness, but also what I saw immediately was a technical background you probably have, but it was all put into. And what I saw immediately, everything has to be done with a purpose here.
Yes, well, the studio grew when I... first of all, I planned it for months and months before I even touched a tool. It was it started even while looking for the right location. So I visited quite a few spaces, and there's always something that was not. I wanted a high ceiling. I wanted a little bit of space. I wanted this. I wanted that. And I finally found this house. And okay, you needed a lot of imagination because there were walls. The ceiling were hanged down, but I knew that there was space above. So the first thing was, I don't know, the first 2 months was just deconstruction, demolishing everything, tearing out the walls, getting rid of the roof, and starting from scratch, basically. At one day I was sitting here and it was raining, There was no roof on it. And I was sitting there and I thought, oh man, oh boy, you just ruined the house. You better know what you're going to do now, because otherwise I just fucked up a house and that was it. But okay, I had a plan and I put a lot of effort. I planned everything in 3D and software, because you have like water is coming from here, electricity is coming from there. You have this, you have windows. I wanted daylight in every room. So just to fit around everything around what you have at your disposition. And
how long are you here now?
Oh, I built the studio in 2008. So it's 14 years. And before I was, almost 10 years in Karlsruhe, so the next biggest city. I had the studio there. And here now, well, I finished everything the night before I had my first clients in the new studio. So I was like putting the final cables and stuff. I hadn't time to test anything. I just hoped that I hadn't touched the patch cable in 4 months or something. So I was there and I was like, oh man.
How was your client responding with you probably doing the last touches? How was your client responding?
Oh, when the first set came here, well, they liked it. It was much more naked. I was not one diffuser in the room. It was very lively. There was no curtain, nothing. But it worked. It worked perfectly fine. So there was a lot of thought that went in, but then it grew over time. So it filled up with this instrument, this stuff, this blah, blah, blah. I found out that I wanted to try out diffusers. I have like 10 different kinds. So I tried to find out how to build them in a cost-effective way. That's why there are so many different. I wanted to see, okay, how can I get the most diffusion out of my money and my time? I even found a way of building some that you don't need glue, screws, or anything. I thought about commercializing it. I have a job, so I'm busy. So I passed on the trick to friends that needed to buy some. So basically, the only tool you need is a table saw, and that's it. And then you can, like a child's game, you just stick them together and they work. They work because it's based on a mathematic principle. So I'm
a woodworker myself, but not on the scale that you're doing. But I understand.
Well, okay, this is nice to do, but okay, the real woodworking. I'm a woodworking nerd. I love working traditional style with unplugged tools. I learned all the traditional techniques, and I like to build skills. So everyone should work on gaining skills, to learn something new every day.
That's the problem of modern society. Back in the days, people were taught to play an instrument or whatever, but they did it physically. Now, we all use laptops, cell phones.
Which is cool, but
there's nothing wrong with that, huh?
But it doesn't stop there. I feel a little bit sad for kids growing up with just a screen instead of eating dirt in the backyard and coming home dirty and just learn something.
Building skills, yeah. People with modern technology are still building skills, but in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. You can also read books, watch YouTube tutorials and learn something. Doesn't need to be physical or old school or something, but it's I like it to go to bed a little bit wiser than I got up in the mornings.
Where's the control room?
Yes.
Sitting on the couch. Is this couch used to be a lot for attended sessions?
Well, when I have the musicians here to record, there's always someone on the couch. I don't do that much attended mix sessions. I'm more effective when I work alone.
Me too.
I prefer people listen to their music at home where they're used to listen to, because here they may say yes or no, and at home they think completely different, because it's just not their used space to listen to. Every speaker sounds different, and they may take a bad decision here that they wouldn't have taken if they were able to listen where they're used to. That's the main reason
That's a lot of discussion that I have on this channel. It's not even the quality of the speakers you should choose, but it's about being one with the room. That's the most important tool you have as an engineer.
You need to take a decision where you trust what you're hearing. If you're listening to music all the time on earpods, then use that to listen to the mix. If it's what you know. And I love getting feedback from musicians because they have first I have the objective view because I hear it for the first time, and then the roles switch and they have the first impression because they get to listen to a mix they don't know. But it only works if they haven't heard the song 5 bazillion times here in the wrong space. For them, the wrong space. But if they can hear it, that's like, hey, I put in a new song, let's listen to it, and what do you feel when you hear it? So this is really important.
Talking about the space, is there anything going on here that you said, yeah, it's worth to know?
Well, to me, everything has a special place, but maybe
has a purpose.
Maybe the pull-up bar over the door to keep you
in shape.
To keep you in shape, yes. I love my room because I feel at home here, which is maybe the most important thing. I feel well here. The acoustics are good. They are neutral. They tell you what you need to know. I can work here.
Is your room like mine? When I walk in, when I close the door, it's like a blanket wrapping all around.
Especially since I also live in the house here, so I have like 10 meters to come here. I drink my first coffee in the morning here. It's my living room. If you want to, it's important to feel cozy. I don't like studios that I can see why one could like them, but would not be my cup of tea. Too very sterile, white, and clean and clinical.
Yes, there needs to be a form of life inside, because otherwise...
You need grandma lamps, for example. You need the cat, you need the couch, you need, I don't know, you need something, you need wood.
Well, to have a couch, so...
But there's enough room for a cat.
Sure. I got 3 of those, but one that is my friend is Fedor, and he's always there with me.
Yeah.
Also great form of absorption.
No, feeling cozy is. Hey, you spend here the whole day working, so better make it as comfy as you can. You don't know how many people already slept on this. Not.
I was about to ask.
Not overnight, but when I'm working or editing or something, or they're waiting for their turn or something. More than one just fell asleep here, and I like this. I really love it when people feel so at home that they are going to fall asleep.
Being part of the process in that way, to me, results always in a good product. And that's at the end of the day, we can talk long or short, but that is what it's all about: delivering a good product.
This is all what matters, and. Talking about this compressor or that preamp it's not half as important as it's especially if you're recording and creating something, then the vibe has to be the right one.
Your humble opinion, if the atmosphere in the studio is not good enough, would the artist perform not that well?
Yes, absolutely. Let me give you an extreme example. I had one, it was two ladies, they made a duo, like an art duo. And they said, yeah, they're so used to be on stage, and if there was a possibility with light and stuff. And you know what I did? I took like big construction lamps and put them right in their face, and they felt like on stage, and they enjoyed it. And they said, now we feel like we are used to perform, and they were happy. So this is for one. The next one, I closed the curtains and shut down the lights. because they want to have this closed up feeling. I'm the least important part in all of this. I'm just here to do whatever is needed to capture that thing. Is it to light a candle? Is it to shut down the lights? Is it to put some LEDs right in their face? Whatever.
Is it really whatever it takes, or is it the client is a king, but he doesn't have to act like an emperor?
No, but I haven't had that a lot. There were two guys that come to my mind that were millionaires, and they had a little bit an attitude. But in 23 years of doing this, 99.9% of the people are nice. We are at eye level. There is respect one for each other. So there is no king and nothing. It's not Mariah Carey asking to paint everything in white, otherwise she leaves the building. I'm working with normal people. Well, I've heard that story. I don't know if that's actually really true, but it is
exactly true.
Everything had to be in white and stuff. But most of the musicians, even if they are a little bit more known or something, most of the times the more well-known people, they rely on their skills and don't need to behave like an idiot.
Mariah Carey was
But I don't want
extreme example you could have mentioned.
Yeah, I don't want to bash anyone. That's not good practice. But just to say, most of the musicians they just want to get their thing done.
Do you notice there are differences between artists from around the world in regions like America, Asia, Europe, perhaps Russia or whatever? Are there differences between them? How they react in studios, how they record stuff in studios?
No.
This is all universal language.
Yes. I think it's more a matter of, is it a nice person or is it an idiot? So if someone is an idiot, then it doesn't matter where you're coming from.
Becoming a musician, you have to be some piece of idiot.
Yeah, but no, most of the people, they are just nice people and they want to get their thing done. And I have a matter of selecting too. You know, you talk to future clients before you have them here. So if you have a bad feeling or something, or if there's something fishy, then I don't have to accept everyone. So
we need to change scenery because a lot of talk.
Yeah, yes. Let's talk about gear. Woohoo! Of
How does it look to you?
Locomotive. It looks like in a train. I'm driving to the next train rail.
Well,
That's funny. Yeah, it looks. Well, some would say it looks hideously, but I love it. I love it. It's like from it's an old console from Eastern Germany, a broadcast console, and I had it started my East German console thing started with 2 preamps that I bought from off eBay. RFZ is the brand. It was their like Telefunken or Neumann or the brands that you had in Western Germany. So they had their own brand and built stuff for their broadcast stations. And the guy from who I bought these preamps, he said at one time, he said, "Man, you don't need more preamps, you need a console." And I said, "Yeah, funny, because all of them are put into pieces and racked like here I have the Neumanns, I have the Telefunkens, more Telefunken." So they just took out the parts and put them into racks, and nobody has, or hardly anyone has, complete consoles. And this is one of very, very few that ever existed, and they're still in good condition. So basically this could be up to 48 tracks. And I first just bought the bass unit, like with, what does it have? 8 preamps and this section. And then I needed more, so I have all in all 20 channels of preamp of this. It's full of input and output transformers. So preamp has input transformer, output transformer, and goes through the EQ, which has input transformer and output transformer. So you
how many transformers in one channel?
well, 4 then. 2 in and 2 out, and this is this is what we love. So to drive them into, it's basically, if you want like a sonically a little bit like a Neve 1073. It's this kind of thing. So it has a dark and full rich sound, and you can drive it. So if you drive the input a little hard until the red light goes on, and then you get saturation, and you can trim it down with a fader. So just what you need. So
Happens a lot in studios. Indeed, pull up the gain, trim it back.
this is, you don't want to overdrive the converters or get a nasty digital clipping going in, but you just pull it back here, and it does all the good thing. The first mix I did, it was like a revelation to me, because back then I was going back and summed. I used 8 stereo buses, if you want to call them. So I just used, I made it like this. I put 1, 2 neutral, 3, 4. I put like a treble +1, and then the next one bass +1. And I just decided, this is a little dark. I go on 3, 4, or this is a little something. I go here and there, and then as you add it more and more, so I went into saturation, and you have this nice sweet spot where the stuff is not getting, it's not getting louder but denser. So this nice saturation point of the console, and then obviously at some point you are a little bit over the top and it's getting too saturated. But if you are in that nice sweet spot with saturation, this is wonderful.
Yeah, when you bought the console, was it in a condition like this, or?
Well, more or less, yes. One thing is that back in Eastern Germany, they didn't have gold for the gold context. So I don't know what it is, if it's silver or something, but they were a little bit scratchy. They are not potentiometers. They are actually switches. So they are the switches are long like this inside. They are capsulated switches. And what I had to do is I took out all the modules, and they have like every step has a little plastic capsule around the connection. So I drilled a little hole and cleaned it with a special cleaning fluid. So it was, I spent 2 days just drilling little holes and cleaning the switches until they were noise free.
What, was it worth it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is what you want as preamps. They are colorful, nice, really thick sounding preamps. You would have to pay a lot of money if you want to get this quality new. It's like if you're buying Neve preamps or something like that.
It's quite unique to have one like this, because
yes,
I've seen a lot of stuff through the years, but not like this.
There are a couple more of these, and funny enough, I got a call from 2 guys who saw on my webpage that I have the complete documentation. So I have like a old school written on a typewriter. I have the whole documentation for the desk. So there were 2 guys that asked me, do you have like the schematics of that module and stuff? So I made them copies, and of these Neumann modules, they are more popular. So you can find the stuff online if you need to know which parts are built in. Or
I see a lot of oddities in the rack, but to me, the big surprise these days, I don't see it that much, is the Bricasti M7.
Well, it's I think the most the most modern rack piece that I have here, because it's still built like this today.
What do you use it for?
I use it all the time. It's in every mix, but funny enough, like 99% of the time I use the same setting. Studio A, set and forget. Sometimes when I do something more classical and I just use one big reverb, then I switch to, I don't know, like a concert hall setting or something. But except from that, it's Studio A all the way. I use... when I mix, I have like, I don't know, 12, 15, 20 aux tracks with long delays, short delays, rooms, early reflections, dotted eighth delays and quarter, 16th, blah, blah, blah. Everything is there, just...
Was it all the same, every time the same principle? You use the same kind of delays for every mix?
No, but I have like, it's like like a box of crayons. So you have them there just in case you need them.
You don't work with templates?
No. But templates are stupid. They don't know what you feed them with. So I don't see any worth in templates, except if you mix an album for, let's say, a rock band and you have the same drum setup. So you start with creating the basic sound for the first track, and if then you can use that what you worked on to a certain extent on the other songs. So
no. I see some interesting speakers.
Yeah, I bet you haven't seen them before.
No, ever.
Well, they are unique. The
membrane.
The top part is designed together with a mastering engineer that we worked on them 2010. We were spending months on trying different parts for the crossover, and it all started with this low mid woofer, because it has the membrane is made of a special material, and this mastering engineer that I knew, he was approached by the guy who worked at the company who made this membrane material, and it had some properties that would reduce the usual peak that you have, this resonant peak that you have in larger speakers. Like if you take a guitar cabinet or something, you have like a more or less linear frequency response, and then you have this big peak at 4, 5, 6K. And these woofers also usually have these, except these. They are almost flat until they roll off. So what that means is that you can use a very gentle crossover inside without having too steep slopes and resulting in a more natural sounding. This was the interesting part about the speaker, so that we thought, would be interesting to try around a little bit and go with a very basic crossover and get a very, very natural sounding speaker. And this is what happened. I think we only have a 6 dB per octave roll off on top, which is exceptional. I think Bowers and Wilkins have won, well, certainly others too, but they are very proud about having components that need very gentle crossover slopes.
60 dB is not much. Normally it's like 12, 14, sometimes 24.
12, 18 or something, more steep, yeah. But here you don't need it, since you don't have this...
because of that response of speaker itself.
Yes. And then there's a ribbon tweeter. I think this one has an 18 dB per octave low cut. I don't think that they have ever been mass produced or ever been used in commercial speakers, but I have one spare part, also one spare pair, just in case. These bass speakers, they are not produced anymore, very unfortunately. I started with only having one per side. They are in sealed cabinets, so they are very, very precise, very dry, so it's no ported.
No ported, no. And so flat and direct.
Very, very, the impulse behavior is very accurate, and they go very deep for a close, when they go flat until 40 hertz, and then they dip off a little bit, and originally I only had one per side, and then I found on eBay, a new old stock, and I thought, okay, that's my time to build new cabinets for, and I don't want to call them subwoofers, but the low range extension.
Yeah.
So and then I put two on each side so that they cannot handle a lot of power. They go deep, but they start distorting very, very early. So now that I have two on each side, they they share the workload.
The funny thing is, we were talking about challenging earlier in this episode, and I started listening on lower volumes than I used to know, because you're getting older, you don't want to... Your ears getting much more quick fatigue when you listen on louder levels when you get older. And now that I listen on less volume, I make better decisions because I'm being challenged to listen better. How's it working for you?
Let's say I don't have a lot of fun listening at really low volumes, although you tend to, at some I check in between. I check, but I don't listen absurdly loud. It's like a good mid range, and I know what I'm hearing then. So I don't use metering on master bus or something. I hear it and I know how loud I am. I just know it because it's the same volume I use every day. So I'm not looking at it if I put 10 songs that have been mixed independently, they fit together. There is not a lot of leveling to be done mastering stage then to make it fit.
Do you deliver to be compatible with the Loudness War?
I didn't say it's quiet.
No.
Like you can make it loud, but
So like streaming platforms, you need to deliver at minus nine laughs.
I don't check. I don't use metering in this. I don't read LOFs and stuff. I deliver like reference mix to the client, which is as loud as I can get it without sounding crap. And then when it's going to mastering, I give him the reference mix plus one where I reduce the limiter.
When is loud sounding crap to you?
When it's sounding crap. I don't have a number to put on those.
It's not about number, but it's about the philosophy. Is it about distortion? Is it about...
It's about how does it feel? If it's losing the character you were for. I like distortion. I have no problem with distortion. You're using all those boxes, all the transformers and all the tape emulations and all those...
Distortion.
Distortion is a friend.
Thing about, digital audio has been running around now for about 30 years, not even. After 30 years, we conclude one thing. It's all about timing with clock, and it's all about distortion, what we miss in comparing to analog sound.
It's I like distortion. I like to compare it like you take a barrel and put rocks in it, and there's so much space in between the rocks, which is sometimes is nice if you're making a jazz record. You want it clean and airy and leave the space. But if you're doing a metal song or something, I like to use the harmonics from distortion like sand that you fill in between the rocks. So you create a dense and loud mix without... I don't rely on a limiter to make it loud. It's the song is loud by itself.
The mix itself needs to be loud.
The mix has all the information. And at the end, I honestly don't spend a lot of time. How am I going to make it loud? It is loud. I'm mixing into this whole the whole chain basically. I have these guys. They are on.
By the way, I love the mastering chain.
I call it maybe more a color box than there's not a lot going on. The meters hardly move here. So I always first go in the, I don't know why, but I choose that order someday and it worked well, so I don't change it. I usually go into these Chandler compressors first, and you see it's not set and forget, but some controls, they stay the same all the time. I change attack and release a little bit, but the rest usually stays the same. And then I have this on 50% wet dry, so even although this is moving maybe until minus 1.5 dB reduction, it's for the color, the transformers,
But it's also about being processed parallel. Do you do a lot of parallel processing?
Well, it's the magic sauce of drums.
But almost on everything.
Yes, but I don't use it that much to be honest. Here I have it because I want the sound from the box, but I don't want that much compression going on. So I'm reducing the amount of compression to keep the color from the box. That's more the reason.
How about this one in the middle?
It's not in the mastering chain. These are two. I like to use them during tracking. These are also old Telefunken EQs out of an old desk. They are brilliant. It's like a 3/4 parametric EQ. So you cannot really change the Q factor that much. You have like 3 settings. It's narrow, mid, still more than enough. And then you have like a really useful selection of, they are killer on toms, for example. When I record drums, these are usually on my toms.
How about the Germanium?
Where they have a color. This EQ,
But specific color.
dark and vintage. This term is so overused, but it's what you would, it's a rich dark color.
Vintage.
It's I love these EQs. So this is they are not built anymore. It's a shame.
The problem with outboard gear in general is
Recall.
no, and it's not recall, but it's becoming a niche market. Niche market is slimmed down. Yeah, a lot of stuff is not produced anymore. So I would love to buy an Avalon 747, but it's not produced anymore.
Isn't it?
No,
No, I didn't know. I have never owned an Avalon.
I've heard of. I was amazed. It's also about what you being said. I was amazed about the Transformers, how they introduced new harmonics to the sound. And it was like, I'm a big fan of exciters with big
Tubes.
Yeah, tubes. I love them. I love Transformers as well. Doesn't matter to me as long as it's colored and sounds. I'm happy.
Yeah, it is a thing with Outboard. Yeah, I obviously during tracking you need preamps. I love to use the EQs that I have. I don't have a bazillion EQs.
How big is the difference for you? Preamp A, B, or C?
I can tell you one story which demonstrates it.
Tell me.
So at one day we had a production going, and the artists wanted a specific Yamaha piano to be recorded. So we found a studio like 50 kilometers from here. They had this piano, and we booked a session to go there and record the piano. And I had to look at the homepage to look for what they had as gear, and I saw they had. He said Focusrite Red preamps, but it was not Focusrite Red. They had the Control 24, this Avid DigiDesign controller with Focusrite preamps, but I had the same console and I knew the preamps are crap. So I thought better go safe than sorry. Then I took these Neumann 476 preamps with that stereo EQ. Just to be safe, I thought, okay, just in case that something is fishy, I have good preamp with me. So when we listened to the piano, it was nice, good microphones, good placement, everything, nice room. And then we went to the control room, listened to it, and I thought, man, it sounds hollow. It sounds
like a hollow pipe.
Hollow. Somehow there was just a part of the sound missing. And it was dull. So it was like, okay, it's somehow hollow and dull. He said, yeah, dull, no problem. Let me put up a plugin of an old Focusrite EQ plugin. And then he put up the treble, and then it was harsh. So it was hollow, thin, and harsh. And I thought, oh man, okay, would you mind trying the preamps I brought? Because I knew there was something fishy. And at first he didn't want to, because he was a little bit, he felt attacked, me coming with my snobby. But okay, I was paying for the session, so I took the decision I want to use those preamps. We hooked them up, and suddenly the piano was there. It was not hollow anymore. It was still too dark. And then I just clicked, I did like 2 dB steps, a little bit of high end, and it was there without being harsh. And next thing you know is the engineer there, he refused a little bit in the beginning, but the last thing he said, the preamps he was using. He was taking notes because he was. It was just a revelation to him and to me also, because I always like to check gear and stuff, or I just buy good stuff because I want to buy it once and keep it for the rest of my life. So
until retire.
But let's say there is no need to buy a preamp for 2,000 euro or something. You can make good music with something low budget. That's not what is keeping you from making good music.
And especially these days, people are running laptops with. If you buy a decent sound card,
yeah. If you buy an Apollo or something, everything is
awesome.
Yeah, but it's affordable somehow.
But Apollo is still about. If you buy Apollo X6, it's still about 2,400 euros.
Yeah, but that's one channel. That's
two channels.
Yeah, but that's not even one channel of a 1073.
No. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah, but you get the emulation of a 1073 with it, and
that's also a total different story.
It's but just to say you can buy a what is it, Golden Age Premier preamp with Carey.
They're not bad.
Hey, I have enough preamps, but just for the fuck of it, I thought about maybe getting one or two.
The red boxes are built cheap with all these solid state components, but they're great boxes. The premium lights, they're awesome.
I've listened to sound examples, and I thought, drum rooms, for example, where they crank it and use the saturation. I thought, well, that's really nice. They're totally affordable. So if I would have to give advice to someone starting out, I would maybe not recommend buying an API 2500 or something, but buy good preamps. Good, decent preamps, and this stuff you can use a lot of it in the box. It's great. I'm happy to have it, but if I didn't have it, I would happily be mixing.
Yeah. How about the big screen?
Well, I don't like the aquarium view. I had this enough in the old studio, so I wanted to have a big window, which is okay. It's a big reflection surface, but I like. Vibe is more important than at some point than the last little acoustic thing. While I have the curtains, when I'm mixing, the curtains are closed, so I don't have that reflection anymore as much.
So for the last shot, we're setting our cards together.
It's perfectly symmetric.
Perfectly. This is how studio shows is supposed to be. It's all about symmetric. I want to thank you for your hospitality, for the coffee, and for the great stories. But I want to ask you one more question. Is there anything left to say, any advice you want to give, anything, just anything?
I have already talked so much. An advice to give. Do stuff.
Make things happen.
Do stuff. It's so much fun to do stuff. Just try something, risk something, do something. I don't know how many things I try to teach myself. Some better, some other, some less. But just do things. There's so many things to be done. I cannot imagine ever to feel boredom in my life. I don't know what it would feel like to feel bored. It's incredible. So if anybody is feeling bored, do something, try something, learn something, have fun, and create something. I think that the really, really, really cool thing about working in a studio is creating something that hasn't been there before. You do something that has not existed before. It's not a copy of something. It's something new, and it's there forever.
It's even though if you do a cover song, it's never done.
Yeah, it's an interpretation, and it's there forever. And this is really, 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 really cool thing. So yeah, create something and leave some traces somewhere.
Leave your footprint on Mother Earth. That's the basic.
Oh, poor Mother Earth. There's already so many footprints, but. Well, it was cool to have you here.
Thank you so much. Really thank you so much. This is it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to leave a comment down the video below, question for me or for him, just do it. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.